Welcome. Good morning to you. Uh-oh. I'm already starting with the scratchy throat nonsense. Come on. Wake up, knucklehead. The live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast. This time around brought to you by my friends at A&E Heating and Cooling. Online at aeheatingcooling.net. Senor Martinez, who, he looks a little bit like that handsome Native American guy on the skateboard with the ocean spray, and he, singing the Fleetwood Mac song, Dogface, what's his nuts, who I think has COVID right now. There's a story right now going on around about him. But that's who actually Joe Martinez reminds me of, the main man behind
Tu madre es una puta.
Forbidden Spanish. Call Joe at 616-516. 8579 for more information about getting that furnace tuned up. Okay, he's been in business for quite some time, a great startup where he was working for the man for extended time, and he's like, you know what, I can do this and save the customer a lot of money and do it on my own. A&E Heating and Cooling, I love them so much. You need them in your life. You need to see Joe twice a year, okay? And you'll make your wife very happy too, because he's so damn handsome. Something about that guy, that Latino lover, hardworking look. Oh, God, just a rugged stud is Joe Martinez. And he's going to be in your house twice a year, wants to look at your furnace, wants to look at your air conditioner, and hopefully no more. But in the event that he goes, hey, this furnace is going to die in 6 months, he's your guy, okay? And he's going to save you a ton of money, too. 616-516-8579. Call him up day or night, doesn't matter. If you need him for an after-hours service call, yeah, he's going to do that, too. It's going to cost you a little more, but that's the way it goes. At least you'll get warm. He can get that thing on for you. So just remember the number, 616-516-8579 for A&E Heating and Cooling. In a pinch, you can reach out to me if it's 2 a.m, and you're like, oh, Zane, what the hell? Who is that again? Because, honestly, a lot of times on these ads, I'll have people listen for months and months and months, and they don't know who the hell I'm talking about. It goes in one ear and out the other. Okay, even though I tell you to pay attention to the ads, you're like, doesn't Zane have somebody who does heating and cooling? Who is that? Because marketing is this. When the message, blah, 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 meets the need, your furnace blowing up, that's when it connects, okay? So when that connection happens, just remember A&E Heating and Cooling. All right? This show comes to you each and every weekday morning on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. From the Baldwin, Ace Hardware, Fear, Bunker Studio, the Eric Zane... Oh, shit. What the fuck? Hit the button. The Eric Zane Show podcast for December 17th begins now. Scared the hell out of me.
Yes, hello. Sean Gotti here, coming to you from Raleigh, North Carolina. And there's not a single radio show around here that's worth a damn. So I'm listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast, coming to you live Monday through Friday. So sit back, get your trays in the upright position, feet and elbows out of the aisle, because here he comes, Eric Zane.
I see you, Tony Gebhard. You don't see me, but I see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Blind Tony is in the house. Legend, an absolute legend on the Eric Zane Show podcast history. Dating way back to the old school days on GRD. My God. Yes. Oh, that is just taking me back. Beep, beep, baseball. Oh, my God, I love that story so much. Do I dare tell it? Do I tell the beep, beep, baseball story again? What do you think? Should I tell the beep, beep, baseball story? Holy shit, it is beep, beep. Tyler says, is that beep, beep, baseball? Fuck yes, it's beep, beep, baseball. Tony Gebhard, absolute maestro on everything musical. He inherited a gift from God. God looked down on him on the day that Tony Gebhard was born, and he said, I bestow upon you the gifts of one Edward Van Halen, of one Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, but I take from thee thy vision. Give me your eyes. Da 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 da. All right, I'm going to get to that in a second. Thank you for being here, Tony, and to all of you. I see Tyler is there. I see Dirk is there. What's going on? Dirk had some interesting conversations off of the podcast with Dirk. Oh, boy. Jason Mays, what's up? Lisa, how are you? How's the family? Andrea there. Zach. My cousin John is joining us. How are you? Kenny is there, of course. The tarantula farmer. Heidi. I don't recognize that. I don't recognize Heidi's name, but excuse me. Welcome to you. And to all of you, wherever you are and wherever you're enjoying the show. Of course, it is live every single morning, Monday through Friday on Facebook, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. On Twitter, that's a Blue Frost IT joint. At Eric Zane Show on Twitter. Follow me on all these. Share all this shit. You know what I noticed yesterday on Facebook on the live video that I did? This exact thing one day ago. Two people shared it. Are you that embarrassed by what the hell I'm doing? Would you just hit the share button? You have no idea how helpful that is. Because when you hit share, the however many friends of yours that see that, a couple might like what they're seeing, and that helps grow the show. We can absolutely grow the show. The more, the merrier, because we need more people hearing the beep beep baseball story at the end of the day, which is coming. Also available on YouTube, the almighty YouTube. Subscribe to it and hit the bell notification. That way you'll know when I go live. That's so important, okay? This is how we do it. Build this freaking podcast. Holy crap. Also available, that this is all live. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. YouTube is brought to you by F45 in Byron Center, Michigan. Thank you very much for being on board with the show. And you can download the audio wherever you download podcasts. I post it shortly after I get done with this, after a little edit, some post-production work, and then off it goes. Stick with me. The beep beep baseball story is seconds away after I tell you what is up. Finally, an area restaurant full of hustlers and shit kickers whom I love, and I cannot wait to get on this show. Man, there is something about the struggle, something about the people who go, all right, I'm kicked in the teeth. A punch comes in from the back of the room. COVID. I could sit there and be a bitch, asshole, whine, and blame everybody else for something that has no blame behind it. Or I can say, fuck that. I'm not wasting my time. I'm going to go and figure this out. What you have here is some amazing people who we will talk about doing just that. The Sand Lake Bar in Gun Lake, Michigan. Sand Lake Bar and Grill. You see how this is already turning out? Because of your awesomeness, people are talking about you. This is so cool. And I'll get to the details as to what they're doing a little bit later on. This is going to work out for you. It's sure messy. There's no great way to get through a pandemic, for God's sake. But, man, I love the spirit of the people at the Sand Lake Bar. See how good this is? The epic Tom Cruise rant is spreading like wildfire, and it's amazing. George Clooney weighs in. He was on the Stern Show yesterday, and he talked about it. Might surprise you his take on it. I really like Clooney, which, by the way, I just saw a preview for a new film that Clooney made, and he's one of my favorites of all time. And this is a movie that is that is Tony just right. Blind Tony, what's up, you lovable fuck? Watch your language, you little shit. I used to throw you pitches in the frickin' schoolyard. Watch how you talk to your elders, you dumb blind bitch. All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that new Clooney movie. It's coming out. I think they're doing it. It's a Netflix theater joint. You know how it is. A football injury that sounds worse than most injuries that we've ever heard to one of your players on the Detroit Lions. It is just sickening. My God. Last night, I didn't post this yet, but I will. I talked to Detroit Lions beat writer for MLive, Kyle Meineke, who I really got into his articles lately. He's been on his coverage of the Lions. I've really been paying attention to it. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I should reach out to this guy, find out what makes this guy tick. I will post that a little later on today. We talked for an hour, Kyle Meineke and myself. We talked for an hour about, well, I kind of wanted to know more about him because too often writers just write about the Lions or whatever sport or whatever thing they're covering, and no one actually gets, behind how they got to where they are. I'll have that later on, publish that. Hey, proof we cannot let our guard down against terror. Oh, boy. How about we make some bets about who gets COVID? Yep, that happened at one major U.S. employer. My God. Dr. Jizz, code white. A 104-year-old Detroit doctor is revealed to have thousands of children. What? Yep, it's true. We'll talk about that. Some of this I think I'm going to have to throw away because I with the introduction now of Beat Beat Baseball, some things might have to get moved. So let's start right there. Let's start right there as we get started on this show, and I see in attendance blind Tony Gebhard. Okay. If you're new, this is going to be just the most fantastic. If you've heard it before, this all happened exactly as it happened. Okay. So the year is 2004. I've just moved to this area. I'm in beautiful Jenison, Michigan, just up the road, 3 miles from here. I live in this little teeny tiny bedroom community that butts right up to a little elementary school known as Pinewood. All right. All the area kids go to Pinewood. In fact, the home I bought to move to the area was a former teacher at Pinewood. Sweet lady, and she was retiring. I bought her home, and I am quite literally 150 yards down the street. You make a right, and boom, there's Pinewood. And I'm like, oh, this is so great. I just moved from Jersey, and I'm catching a break with this job on GRD. We had no idea what was going to happen in the future, and the success that the show was going to have. So we're still kind of struggling, but what the hell, man? I got a house. I feel good. Boom, right there. And everything's fine. And I got these 2 kids, of course, Jim and Jack. Jim is 9 at the time. Jacqueline is 7. Dad, can we go play baseball in this awesome field where the school is? I go, yeah, let's do it. So Jim's in the outfield. Jackie's batting. I'm pitching. I always played a lot of sports with my kids when they were growing up, man. We did a lot of shit together. And so I'm the pitcher, and Jackie's pretty good at batting. And the kids just are having a ball. And that was about to be ruined by the person in attendance right now, 26-year-old Tony Gebhard. I think you're about 26, because that's when I was introduced to him. Behind me is a row of houses. I hear, hey, can I play? And right away, without even looking or knowing what's going on, I'm like, perfect opportunity for the kids to meet someone new. I turn around and I'm like, well, yeah, come on, buddy. Come on over and meet my kids, and we'll play some baseball. I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be like a legendary moment. Before long, all of the kids are going to be out here playing baseball. You see, nowadays, kids don't play baseball. Nobody does anything. They stay inside and they play they play video games or whatever. But I got this kid coming out here. Before long, it's going to be like ants, candy, and we're just going to have a ball. It's going to be awesome. Old school, man. Kids playing baseball, scratching up their knees, having fun. Here we go. And I noticed it's taking this kid. He's walking over. I'm like, something's weird. Something's going on here. And I come to find out, I think he described it, that he was counting his steps. You see, Tony has a degenerative disease that has robbed him of sight. And I think he was close to lose. It wasn't completely dark at that point in time, but it was rough. Okay. Side question. Dean says, is that the same school you took a dump in front of, Eric? No, not true. Shut up. Let me tell my story, Dean. Tony is blind, and he reveals that. He goes, hey! And here's the thing about Tony. He is aggressive as shit. And if you're a blind kid, you have something like that you're, this is what you want. You want to have that aggressive nature and nothing's going to hold you back attitude. And that's Tony. I mean, it's a good thing he's blind. Let me just tell you that. Because if he had vision, he'd be like a world dictator. He would rule the world. He would. And so we're all better off because Tony's blind. So this fucker comes walking up and he's like, well, guess what? I'm ready to play baseball. I go, okay, cool. What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm thinking. He's like, I'm blind. I can't see shit. I'm like, what the fuck? How are we going to do this? He's like, all right, no problem. I play beep, beep baseball. I'm like, beep, beep baseball. What is that? And so he walks up to the plate, and then Jim and Jack are looking at him like, oh, boy, what the fuck is going on here? And he goes, okay, I'm going to hold the bat and stand at home. And you throw the ball. And when the ball gets close, you gotta yell beep, beep. And then I'll swing and hit it a mile. And I'm like, what is this? Is this a joke? Or am I getting punked? Is this going to be a future Disney movie? Does he have some type of telekinesis going on here? Is he maybe, let's pardon the pun, but let's run out the ground ball. Maybe something even more fantastic is going to happen. That's how adventures happen. You explore the world. All right. Well, that's not true because I threw the fucking ball and I go swing and he goes, no. I'm like, what? He goes, you got to say beep, beep. Now in my head, I'm like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter if I say beep, beep or swing or whatever. I mean, he goes, no, apparently I think I think he played a game where the ball would actually make a sound and then you would hone in on it with your Daredevil radar and then you'd hit it. So he thought that translated to the actual beeping ball where all I have to say is beep, beep. But what he's missing is when you have the beeping baseball, if it starts at home, you can kind of get an idea in your brain, in your mind's eye, how far away it is. And as it gets, so if it starts here, it's beep, 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 beep. And then when it's closer, you can hear it. It fills your ears more. But Tony doesn't fucking think that way. He thinks all I have to do is shout beep, beep right when it's in the sweet spot. So there's no way in hell he's going to hit this damn ball. Sure as shit, man. I throw it. I go, all right, beep, beep, miss. Jackie gets the ball, throws it back. Do it again. Beep, beep, miss. All right. At this point, like an hour's passed. Jim's in the outfield. He's picking dandelions. Nobody gives a shit. We're all bored. We all hate our lives. Like, oh, fucking go home, kid. We hate you. And so, that I don't remember much more about it than that. I think I actually at one point got right by him. I'm like holding the bat for him, throwing it up in the air, and we're awkwardly swinging together. It was so stupid. Oh my God. It just didn't work. So eventually, over time, young Tony went home. Now, let me say this about Tony. I had no idea about the skills on this guy. And there was a talent show at the elementary school, and you see him on piano. And he is a absolute virtuoso on guitar and piano. I've seen it. And I have always been amazed when this happens, how that takes place. And to someone like Tony, you don't have to sit there and spend. If it's me, I'm in front of the piano, like plunk, 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 reading, trying to figure out the music, where your hands go, what for chords and stuff like that. That's not the case with him. Like I said, he's been touched by God, and God said, all right, Mozart, Bach, wow, Beethoven, Eddie Van Halen, you have it. He's incredible. So good. So there you go. Absolute joy to be around. And we've had so much fun over the years. This goes back to the story also as Tony grew and became a man. He, was he in love with Jackie? Or he definitely had a crush on her, and he was not afraid. He is so damn bold. He would always come up to me and tell me that. And I'm like, first of all, don't tell me that. It's my daughter. What the hell is wrong with you? But he'd be walking down the street and he'd say, hey, Mr. Z. And I go, Tony, how are you? And then, like we have a pretty good rapport, obviously, because I'm giving him all sorts of shit here on this bit. But he would say, I saw Jackie today. And I would go, no, you didn't. I don't think you did. And then he'd just go, Mr. Z, fucking asshole. What the fuck, man? And then we'd have a good conversation. And he'd go, all right, Mr. Z, I'll see you later. And I go, I don't think you will. Fuck. Oh, no. Get it? Shit. Oh, man. I love this guy so much. Tony, you are the best. Thank you for being here. Seriously, if I have never really had any, when I look back on things in radio that I've ever done, no one remembers shit other than the personal stories. Nobody gives a shit. Names aren't made. People don't ever have a successful career unless they're willing to tell those stories. You were one of the legendary stories because of the beep, beep baseball, because of what I just told. My God. And I hope you're doing well. Last time, I remember Tony went to like Alaska for some reason. And I'm not sure why. And then he was back in Michigan. And then I think he went to, I'm not even sure what the hell you're doing. Would you please throw me an update on Messenger, young man? I would love to hear what's going on. Make it all good news. All right. Stand by. Let me just tell you, right now, I feel so damn good. I had the day yesterday where it was laid low. I am finally really getting on board with this recovery thing. And there was no going out for long walks with the dogs. I walked around a little bit, but I wanted to make doubly sure that I was that I took care of myself yesterday. And I every single morning I feel a little bit better after the surgery. In fact, I want to update you on something that I read yesterday that I'm really proud that this happened. The gentleman that I donated the kidney to, Jeffrey, is he is intensely private, okay? And he, I've only told you his first name, and that's what he has requested. And so but he's been very, very methodical about informing people that are close to him about what he went through. And he explains a little bit in this post, but I was really happy to read this because he kind of went public on his own to his friends on Facebook. So I wanted to read this to you. Jeffrey writes this. And if you don't know, if you just start checking out the live stream for the first time in a while, I donated a kidney to this guy. There's a whole bunch of backstory that goes with it that I don't want to get into now because most people have already gotten it. But if you must know or you don't know, just, I don't know, reach out to me or go back on old podcasts or one way, shape, or form, you'll be able to figure it out. So he's recovering. I'm recovering. He writes this. A true story. My best friend tried to save my life, but he could not. And it made me so happy. Sad, too, but mostly happy. You see, my friend volunteered to donate a kidney to me after both of mine failed. Yes, I had stage 5 kidney disease and did not tell many people because it's hard to admit you're sick. He flew out here to UCLA and got all the tests and scans required for the transplant. And then they saw it, the spot on his kidney, cancer. But here's the amazing thing, Jeffrey writes. If he had not gotten those tests, they likely would not have found that tumor until it was too late to do anything about it. His willingness to save my life ended up saving him. You remember I told you that they put you through the most thorough physical ever? That's what I did, and I had no issue. They did this with this guy. This is someone else who was going to give up their kidney to Jeffrey. Well, Jeffrey continues. His willingness to save my life ended up saving him, which fills me with more joy than I know what to do with. He is doing well after they zapped his cancer away. It was just like little spots, like stage 1. Not an issue. Completely fixable. But it also left me with 2 failed kidneys and not a particularly joyous future. Over the past year or so, 9 other brave, beautiful friends also tested for me, but they didn't pass the preliminary test. I'm eternally grateful that they stepped up. They are brave, beautiful souls with big hearts, and I will love them forever. Then, finally, the 10th person passed. His name, he writes, his name was Eric Zaitunian. It's still my name. I'm not dead. He didn't only have a healthy kidney, he had the most beautiful heart. Well, thank you. I was blessed, saved by my Armenian hero. So can you imagine my year and how hard it was to be asking for help to live? I somehow survived with my beautiful family, including my wife and 2 beautiful boys. And now, thanks to Eric, I get to continue to be there for my family. Again, out there, someone needs help. He continues, the gift of life. 100,000 die each year waiting for a kidney. Anyway, think about it. He writes, who knows? It might save your life. It definitely saved mine. That is very, very kind and so sweet of you to write that, Jeffrey. Absolutely fantastic. He continues to recover. I described it more than once now as the kidney is an angry maid who walked into his home and said, who the hell has been cleaning the blood here? Are you kidding me? Him describing to me that his energy is off the rails. It's like something he hasn't experienced because in so long, the kidney failure is a slow grind. It slowly has sapped the life from him. And all of a sudden, he's good. And he made it very clear to me that he is full of energy. And I go, well, I am less energy, and that is a good thing because I had too damn much. So I'm so happy for you. Okay, let's update the great food giveaway. Each box of food that will be given away Wednesday, December 23rd, starting at 2 p.m. at Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid, will contain a spiral ham, corn, bag of potatoes, gravy, King's Hawaiian rolls, and a pie. Pretty much everything you need for a Christmas dinner. The goal of this is to feed 100 people who otherwise wouldn't have it. Please spread the word. If you would go to the event announcement on my Facebook page and share it. For those who need food, drive up, no questions asked. Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid in Grand Rapids. Just drive up your car. We put the box of food in. Grand Rapids Pitbull Alliance says, do you have a pet? Well, yeah, I got 2 dogs. Well, here's some food to feed the dog. You drive away. That's it. Okay? I want all of this gone. 100 boxes full of food, 100 dinners full of food for Christmas. Anything left over gets immediately transported to Mel Trotter Ministries in Grand Rapids. They will use that food. Extra money raised. A check is written to Kids Food Basket, who graciously shared my event on their events page of the Kids Food Basket Facebook page. Oh, my God. And you've been giving money in kind of an unorthodox way because, I slapped this together quickly. And how it goes is you've been Venmoing me money at Great Food Giveaway. And on PayPal, search Diana Zaitunian, Zeitunian. That money is what I will use to purchase the 100 meals. I will show all of the math in a video that I will record of all the money coming in, the actual dollar amount, so that you see, transparency. People like that stuff. They want to make sure that everything's on the up and up, and I get that. And then I will also show you the exact dollar amount spent at the store to buy the food. And then I will prove to you by showing you via online sources the money that was sent to Kids Food Basket. So basically what you got here is you all amazing people give money. I show you that amount, and then I show you the amount spent, and then I show you the amount sent over to Kids Food Basket. At the end of the day, it's zero. It zeroes out, and then all the food is given away. I do want to stress to you, do not put any pressure on yourself or make yourself feel bad or cause you any anxiety because you can't even drop anything in the bucket. Don't you dare worry about that. There's a lot of people that listen to this show that has made this possible in less than 1 week. Wait till you hear the amount of money raised. Oh, my God. You all are so very, very kind. Some of you are donating your time to help me give this food away. And I haven't even done a head count on that. I have no idea. I just know. I know the usual suspects are going to be there. If you want, that would be nice if you gave me a heads up they're going to be there. I talked to a couple of you that said, hey, yeah, I'll be there donating my time. That's cool, too. Hell, if you just even think about it, if you just share it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, that is absolutely a godsend. Again, don't put yourself under any pressure, okay? It's a weird-ass time. Nobody's got any damn money. So it's fine. I appreciate you so much. Here's what's up. According to my last count, we have raised $3,978.98. To pay for the 100 meals, it's just under $2,700. Going to buy it on Saturday. So that leaves us about $1,200 extra to be sent to the folks at the Kids Food Basket here in West Michigan, which they've been taking it on the chin during this pandemic too. So, man, I'm stoked about this. This is just awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Blind Tony. What the hell is he writing me? While I was doing that whole bit, what's up, you lovable fuck? Check this out. Beep Beep Baseball is actually a nationally recognized sport with the blind public. Oh, I don't doubt it. I know it had an impact on you, fucker. I know you guys are all about it. Shit. Bro, things are rad. I'm 24, by the way. You must be getting old. Things are good. I'm here in Jenison. Moved back in 2017. I've released 3 solo albums since 2016. Working on the 4th for next year. I ended up having a huge change in my career path last year. I started virtual training for technology classes. Always been a tech-oriented dude, but didn't consider teaching it by any means today. But I ended up landing a job as an assistive technology instructor through the Alaska Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. It's a rehabilitation center that works closely with the lives of folks, both young and old, to help them transition and embrace their new life. Listen to you, Tony. I'm proud of you, young man. Moving to Anchorage. You're going back to Alaska. in March for this big chapter of my life. Let's get together for some coffee, dude. Love to talk more about it. Miss you, fucker. Ah, God, it just makes me cringe when I see people that grew up in the neighborhood that are as old as my kids talking like that. I scream. It's okay, though. I scream at Jackie all the time. I say, quit swearing. What the fuck? Watch your fucking mouth. Don't talk like that. That's the way old assholes like me talk. You don't talk that way. I've got some programming notes for you. First of all, the Insane Asylum just dropped today on Patreon. There's that. The Lost Zane recordings from WBBL drops tomorrow. Another new edition of that. That's on Mondays and Fridays. And Friday, 7 p.m. on Patreon, the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. It's back. Yes, took a little time off for the California trip, but back at it. And should be fun. So there you go. Okay, that is the open of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Don't forget about me on Patreon. I love it so much, and you guys that are part of it are just amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are people who actually give me cash money out of their pockets, $5 or $10 a month for more content. If you like the show, this is how one of the ways that I pay the bills. Thank you, thank you, thank you. $5 or $10 a month, and I produce content and put it out on there. All right. Lost Zane recordings, Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. Every day, the bonus podcast. When Dale is recovered from his illness, he'll be back with Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia. And what else do I have there? Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer. Insane Asylum. Yeah, I forgot that. Insane Asylum, Lost Zane recordings, Ben and Eric, and the bonus. All of that available on Patreon. Got a car dealership. I want you to consider, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, a new Honda. That would be Sarah Honda in Granville, Michigan. Shop online, sarahhondagranville.com. You see something you like, you click on it. Before you know it, your phone's going to ring. It's going to be a guy saying, hey, what can I help you with? How can I help you? Or if you want to do it old school, just go in person and check out the inventory. Amazing campus there on Kennewa, just off 44th, next to the Cracker Barrel. sarahhondagranville.com. I've got a realtor. His name is Henry Steffes. I love him to death, and he wants to list your home. If this is something you're considering, do reach out to the Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty. Okay. He, of course, is the realtor of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast. TheSteffesGroup.com online. Henry is absolutely amazing. You should do your work. And you know, if you've worked with another realtor in the past, he understands that. All he wants is to be given a chance. Because, frankly, if you're going to list your home, this is a big deal. You want the best options possible. And more often than not, after you get to know somebody like Henry, you'll be like, yeah, I think I like him better than everybody else. I mean, they're all fine. But Henry, his system, his staff, his manners, a very polite young man. The Steffes Group of Keller Williams Realty. Thank you. Okay, this is kind of like one of these stories that we need. Because, you know, every time you turn around, there's during the pandemic, there's no manual for this. There's no playbook for this. People are doing their best figuring it out as they go. Some have chosen to respond and point a finger and blame people for this shit show. Well, that's impossible. There is no blaming, in my opinion, to go around. It's a pandemic. We're trying to get through it as best we can. The blame game's always pissed me off. Anybody who's listened to me for any amount of time has hated that. But finally, we have someone in the restaurant industry who's not just sitting back being an asshole and pointing the mad finger. It is a restaurant known as the Sandbar in Gun Lake, or on Gun Lake in Michigan here, south of here. Now, this is just absolutely great. And I have actually thought about this and talked about it many times. Do you remember when one of my recent rants about the pandemic, about how business owners like, oh my God, they're all going to die. Everybody's doom and gloom. This is going to happen. Everybody's going to lose their business. I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure, because typically, yeah, it sucks. But people who start businesses from scratch, these are usually very crafty people who have quite an ability to adapt. You can't, opening a business and building it from the ground up is not for everyone. And the ones that do pull it off, a lot of them have the ability to use that buzzword pivot. The ones that don't are the ones like Jimmy's COVID house. No ability to pivot there. He's an asshole. And what you have there is basically him just being an asshole and bitching and moaning and acting like an idiot, and now he's fucked going forward. I wouldn't set foot in that place ever. When the dust blows over on this, I would never, ever set foot in a place like that because of his behavior during all this shit. Fuck him. But I will go out of my way to go to a place like the Sandbar because of moments like this.
Berry County Restaurant getting creative now with its outdoor dining options by using ice shanties in the parking lot.
News 8's Kyle Mitchell is there to find out what inspired this idea.
This is the inside of one of the shanties. The owners of the restaurant say it's a safe way to keep households separated, and they sanitize between each use.
This order, as Governor Whitmer explained, closes indoor settings where people gather without masks, notably indoor bars and dining.
With indoor dining at restaurants not allowed in Michigan.
I love ice fishing. She loves going out on date nights.
The parking lot of the Sandbar and Grill near Gun Lake has transformed into an ice shanty village.
I felt like it was a great idea.
Who knew that this would be the easiest way to do it, man? It makes so much sense. Everybody's isolated. You set up a fucking shanty, put a little space heater in there. You're good. You're good. That's it. Problem solved.
Yeah. Corey and Amy Florette brought their own shanty to lunch.
As of right now, because of the pandemic, it serves like a dual purpose, you know. So here soon we can go ice fishing, and we can't right now, so we can utilize it for this.
The servers try to keep their distance
Great
by
attitude.
handing food and drinks through the door.
This.
The owners felt this was a better approach than a large communal tent because it's easier to...
The owners felt this was a better approach than Jimmy's COVID house because they're not assholes.
Maintain social distance.
I understand that, you know, the dining with everybody walking around without their masks in between the tables and that sort of thing, but outside and between the tables, I think it's a lot safer.
The restaurant's general manager said they looked at other options and this was the most economical compared with buying a
Are you sure you don't want to just sit there and bitch and complain and break the rules and get everybody sick and cause people to die and alienate half of the people that would go to your restaurant? Are you sure you don't want to do that?
Of specially designed igloos, which could have cost thousands of dollars.
This is a practical solution because those igloos are very expensive. We started pricing them out.
The Sandbar has 3 heated tents to rent.
Everybody in that, hell, everyone in that community's got a freaking ice shanty. I'm guessing that the people that own the Sandbar, it took about 5 minutes of phone calls. Hey, can I borrow your ice shanty? Hey, can I borrow your ice shanty? Yeah, we're going to set up about 15 ice shanties here and just take the business outdoors. All right, great. Problem solved. Awesome. My God.
Equipped with a Bluetooth speaker. The small business came up with the idea after seeing the interest in the outdoor dining area and fireplace.
We just decided to, hey, let's see if people react to it. We put it out on Facebook and it went crazy.
With restaurants struggling to serve.
People remember that too, okay? They remember Jimmy's COVID house being assholes. They remember how you hustled, you moved your feet, you figured it out, and here you are. You're on the news. Everybody's talking about you. In my little stupid show, I'm talking about you. Other people are going to talk about you. Word is going to spread that how the Sandbar is not a bunch of fucking idiots. These are bright people who did what they needed to do to survive. Instead of sitting there and being loudmouth assholes and breaking all the fucking rules and being a dumb dick, these brilliant people did this, and they should be applauded for it, and they should be recognized. And it's one more opportunity to say, fuck you, Jimmy.
Survive the pandemic. The Sandbar is hoping this gives them a lifeline to make it through.
It should say Sandbar, better than fuckface Jimmy's.
Stay afloat and be creative. That's kind of what this is. You know, we're hoping that this takes off. We're hopeful that it can help us keep afloat. That's what we've done with takeout and delivery.
In Berry County, Kyle Mitchell, News 8.
I want to go now. I want to go now after that. Oh, I am so impressed with that. Well done to the folks at the Sandbar and Grill. You get the free pub. Everybody's talking about you. If you put because you can put a dollar amount on revenue. You know, when a story happens, there is some value to what when people talk about it, because then people have heard of you. I'm really, really impressed and tickled with all of this. Well done to those folks. I'll link them up. I want to make sure you know exactly more about them. Their link in the comments of this podcast. Damn it, am I impressed? I actually want them on the podcast to share with them, you know, so that you can know more, hear their story. It's so great. Okay. Also COVID related. By the way, did you hear how the folks from Pfizer, they like filled the bottles up a little bit too much, and that actually the U.S. might have a 40% larger supply of vaccine than what was originally thought? So, you know, you get those little vials that have a certain amount of dosages in them, and then the people that were administering the dosages are like, wait a second, there's a ton left in here that we could give to someone. And then, but first they were like, no, we gotta stick with it, with what they told us to do, a certain amount of doses, and then they just throw it away. So they're throwing away good vaccine. Excuse me. Well, then Pfizer came back and said, yeah, you can use that. Go ahead and use that. So that actually increases the amount of vaccine available. I know Dirk in Florida is stoked about that. He is all about it. All right. Tom Cruise. This is what's going on with him. This guy was making Mission Impossible #7. And from boy, if you're him, son of a bitch, somebody recorded him having a temper tantrum about COVID, because I don't know, people weren't socially distancing, and there are rules and regulations about making a movie nowadays. And so, you know, he's making his movie and he wants everybody to follow the rules, or else they got to shut it down, because so many people that are making a movie, if suddenly everybody gets sick, you know, the health department might come in and shut that deal down. So you got to make sure that all those rules are followed. Okay. Well, people weren't following the rules, and he went crazy, and some fucking idiot recorded his temper tantrum. And I think he's going to emerge from this, because I think it was all appropriate. Yeah, he swore and was having a temper tantrum, no big deal. But who's the asshole who works for Tom Cruise, records this shit, and then releases it to the world?
You're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us. Because they believe in us and what we're doing. I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers. And they're looking at us and using us to make their movies. We are creating thousands of jobs.
Oh, call them MRFers.
I don't ever want to see it again.
Oh, boy.
Ever. And if you don't do it, you're fired. And I see you do it again, you're gone. And anyone on this crew does it. That's it. And you too. And you too. And you.
Okay. So at this point, he's pointing directly at people. You. And you. And you.
Do it again. That's it. No apologies. You can tell it to the people that are losing their homes because our industry is shut down.
All right.
It's not going to put food on their table or pay for their college education. That's what I sleep with every night. The future of the industry.
Can you name a film that he lost his mind? What was the movie? He was in the You Can't Handle the Truth. That's what the hell one is that? That's what I keep hearing.
So I'm sorry.
What was that called? Full Metal Lawyer or something? A Few Good Lawyers, A Few Good Jackets, a few loud. What was that? A Few Loud Handle the Truth. A Few Good Metal. A Few Good Men. Few Good Men.
I have told you.
You ordered the code red. Hell yeah.
Don't do it.
Hell yeah, I ordered the code red.
We are not shutting this movie down.
Oh, fuck.
Is it understood? If I see it again, you're gone. It's so.
Andrea says Tom Cruise's anger problems need to be exposed. Yeah, for the benefit of all. This is good. This is absolutely fantastic. Joe Martinez writes, this is what makes America great. I'm sorry. That's about the rest. I'm sorry. That is not related to this.
So you're going to cost him his job. And I see it on the set, you're gone. And you're gone. That's it. Am I clear? Do you understand what I want? Do you understand?
You know, there was a time when you could get away with yelling at people at work. There really was a time. And it's gone. You cannot do this anymore. No one allows this to happen. First of all, you're going to be recorded at some point, and it just never works out. I actually have done this, and this is another reason why I would struggle in the workplace, because sometimes I'm like, fuck, you know what? Son of a bitch. What the fuck? You have to be able to say to people, what the fuck are you doing? You have to be able to do that.
Responsibility that you have, because I will deal with your reason. And if you can't be reasonable, and I can't deal with your logic.
Andrea hates Tom Cruise. I cannot stand Tom Cruise, fucking piece of shit Scientologist. What the fuck? How? Why? What the fuck did he do to you? I know Scientologists. I have some good friends that are Scientologists. I get along with them. Andrea, what the fuck is wrong with you today?
You're fired. That's it. That is it.
All right.
I trust you guys to be here.
All right. That is fantastic, and I'm so happy that it happened. So yesterday, Clooney was on Stern. This is what he said. Quote, Cruise did not overreact because this is a problem. I have a friend who works on another TV show who just had the almost exact same thing happen with not quite as far out a response. While Clooney could understand the gravity of the situation, he also would have handled it differently. Well, you say that right now when you're calm. In the heat of the battle, man, sometimes you got to get a red ass. I think if I ever had the opportunity to work with a group of people again, first day, I'd say, look, there's going to come a time when I'm going to lose my shit, and I'm going to scream, and I'm going to yell. So just wrap your mind around that whole concept. In fact, let's do this. Here's a voice recorder. Go ahead and record me, and then send it in to, I don't know, post it on Facebook. Do whatever you need to do. You have permission to record it and make it available so that I can get out in front of this. This is called the Eric Zane Show. Look like an asshole voice recorder. Clooney says, I wouldn't have done it that big. Stand by. I wouldn't have, pulled people out, he elaborated. You're in a position of power, and it's tricky, right? You do have a responsibility for everybody else, and he's absolutely right about that. And, if the production goes down, a lot of people lose their jobs. People have to understand that and have to be responsible. It's just not my style to, to take everybody to task that way. I can't imagine seeing George Clooney lose his shit. He said, we're also only hearing one part of the story. I think it doesn't help necessarily to point to specific people in that way and do it that. But, everybody has their own style. The people who were on that shoot would tell us more about it, he told Stern. I understand why he did it. He's not wrong at all about that. I don't know that I would have done it quite that personally, but I don't know all the circumstances. So maybe he had it 10 or 15 times before. Well, all right. So that's that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But seriously, nowadays, you just can't do that. People get so pissed off. I mean, look at what happened to Ellen DeGeneres, man. She almost lost the damn show because she'd lose her shit or do whatever the fuck they said she did. I don't know. Whatever. Probably not that big of a deal. All right. Hey, when it comes time to get in shape, there is a place in Byron Center, Michigan that I would love you to go to. F45 is what they are known as. F45training.com/Byron Center is the website. Great group of people over there. You can work out in a group setting with a personal touch, and you can do it for free for the first week to try it out. And I can't stress this enough of how fantastic that could be. Just go in there, work out for a week when the time is right, and then decide if you want to sign up on the dotted line. It's really important to stay active, and however you do it, the hardest part is getting started. If you go there to Byron Center's F45, make sure that you mention my name, and you'll be able to get started on getting in shape. Everybody should work out a little bit every day, and then slowly increase that, Kenny, and you will benefit, because you know what? People in your life want you to live longer. And if you choose not to work out, you are absolutely choosing to not live as long. You might think I'm kidding about that. I'm not. If you don't move a little bit and exercise when you can, you're doing a disservice to the rest of your family who loves you and wants you to stay around as long as possible. Why do you think my dad walks 2-3 miles every day at 87 years old? He wants to stay with us. You should too. F45training.com/Byron Center. They sponsor the YouTube. Mario and the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. He sponsors my Instagram, where we did Instagram instant trivia yesterday. Congrats to Dave for winning the $10 prize. But Mario is your mortgage guy. I've got a realtor on the show. We talked about Henry Steffes, and I've got a mortgage guy too. The Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Never been a better time to get that mortgage. NMLS number 3035. If you're like, I can't get a mortgage, Zane, everything's terrible right now. Okay, you might be right. You might be right, but would you please just try? Call Mario 231-332-6505 and let a professional do the exploring for you. Okay? Let Mario and his staff work for you. Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage, 231-332-6505. Especially important if you're a first-time mortgage person, maybe a young person or a person who's dealing with bankruptcy or bad credit or divorce or some shit like that. Let them try, okay? Please. And then, of course, A&D Cleaning. This is a West Michigan legendary business that cleans homes, of course. Amy Porter wants to do it for you at 616-550-3644. Makes a great gift for someone, whether it be a one-off, daily, weekly, monthly, twice a month, once a quarter, it doesn't matter. Clean the house, man. Damn it, 616-550-3644. I wonder if I hired Amy here at the house, if she charged me more to clean the diarrhea shits on the underside of the toilet from No Filter Kevin's asshole shooting out Ham's beer every morning. My God. Oh, fuck. Put a price tag on that. I don't think that guy has taken a solid dump in like 15 years. Holy crap. Quite literally, holy crap. Jesus. It could be a case study. What can 6 Ham's beers the night before do to a colon every single morning? Fuck. A&D Cleaning also brings you my dog, Daisy, who is snoozing away and enjoying this podcast. Thank you to A&D Cleaning. Okay, as I said, I'll be publishing an interview with Kyle Meineke. God, I struggle saying his name. Kyle from MLive. This guy used to listen to me when I was on the radio, and he reveals that in the discussion that I have with him. I sought him out because I like reading his columns about some of the things that happened during the Matt Patricia, the end of his tenure with the Detroit Lions. And then, so I sent him an email and I go, hey, dude, so when you write this shit about Matt Patricia over the years, did he ever like get pissed off at you? And so when he was responding to that email, and I didn't even expect him to respond because he gets a lot of email, of course, he's a pretty popular writer. And he goes, by the way, man, I went to Grand Valley and I grew up in Kent City, Michigan, listening to you on the radio. And I'm like, no shit. Oh my God, it makes me feel old. Holy crap. So then we kind of struck up a conversation, and I talked with him for like 1 full hour yesterday about just that, writing, and we kind of wove in some of like him covering the football team and some of the things he's seen. And one of the big stories in the past week has, for starters, the Lions brought in Chris Spielman, who is a legendary Lions football player, to help get this team on track with finding the right personnel going forward. They just fired their general manager and their coach, and it's been another fucking miserable season. But this story, son of a bitch, of all the things that we have talked about with muppety, flippity, broken legs and shitty stuff like that happens to football players, I couldn't believe it when it was trending on Twitter that the center for the Detroit Lions hikes the ball to Matt Stafford and then bashes people in the face trying to keep the quarterback from getting sacked. Frank Ragnow, who is an absolute beast in the game against the Packers. We don't know how it happened, but he suffered a fractured throat. What? And I had to read it twice. I was like, well, it's got to be a typo. There's no such thing. How can you fracture? Are there bones there? What's going on? Okay, so this happened early in the game. No one knows it happened. He's got to be vocal during the game. There's things he has to say when he's at the line of scrimmage as the guy who snaps the ball. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, hey, what's going on with Frank? He's not talking. He's like, I can't talk. Like, what? What's going on? And he's like, and they get the idea that he's fine. He's going to play. No big deal, but he can't talk. And they're like, well, what the fuck? Oh, fuck him. We got to go. Come on. There's a game we got to lose. By the way, the Lions, despite being massively overmatched, especially with their defense, they gave the Packers everything they could, and I think they deserve credit for that. Hey, Lions stink, but they didn't give up. Ragnow, during the game, despite a busted throat, couldn't talk. He did not, even with a very, very strong defensive Green Bay team, did not allow a sack, didn't even allow anybody to get a hand on Matt Stafford. Holy shit. This happened in the first quarter. He played the whole game with a fractured throat. My gosh. Now, as it looks right now, he's not going to play. Well, I can't say for sure, but there's a strong chance that with a broken throat, he might not play anymore. There have been other players who've had this injury in the past. They've been out for extended time, so who knows? How does that even happen? I mean, obviously you get hit in the throat, but, I mean, broken throat? Holy crap. Running backs coach Kyle Kasky said, I think y'all know he's a country guy, which obviously means ass kicker. And he's not one to step away from any challenge. The crazy thing, according to Kyle's article, is Ragnow toughed out the injury so well, he did not allow a single pressure all game. Even most of his teammates did not even know he was so badly injured. No one had any idea, backup quarterback Chase Daniel said. We just knew, like, for most of the game, the dude couldn't talk. When I came up to him, he's like, I can't talk. You got to make the calls. I'm like, all right, bud, all good. Because in that game, Chase Daniel had to take over because Stafford got hurt. It was funny at the time. It's not funny now because it's a serious injury, but I mean, the dude played the rest of the game, and I don't know if he gave up a quarterback hit. It's impressive. It really is. They said they don't know how the injury occurred. NFL Network reported it. It happened in the first quarter, but the film doesn't show any type of injury. He did keep Matt Stafford in the loop. He came up to me early in the game and was very hoarse and faint sounding, Stafford said. Maybe he's going to sound like Throat Stab Dale now. Hey, Zane. Hey, Zane, how are you? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Yeah, fucking fuck Whitmer. Yeah, fuck that shit. Fuck her. This pandemic is all Whitmer's fault. That's something Dale would say now. That's fucking bullshit that we have to wear masks. Fuck this. I'm not wearing a mask. Doing the Dale voice makes me cough. Man. Busted throat. Gotta be injury of the year. The fact that he played the game. Unbelievable toughness for Frank Ragnow. Lions with 3 games left to go on this miserable shit show season. You know, and that has to be like a highlight. The fact that he played the rest of the game with a busted throat. He's a winner. Matt Stafford's a winner. The good news story about Patricia getting fired, that's all good news and a great story. I like the fact that the Lions are going ahead in this, and in the Meineke interview that I'll publish later. Again, I have trouble with his name. I don't know why. He goes into great length about how Sheila Ford Hamp, who is the owner of the team right now, that is the daughter of William Clay Ford, is just an absolute ass kicker. I don't know anything about her until I heard Kyle, who speaks with her. He spoke with Spielman, who spoke with Hamp. Hamp convinced Spielman to take the job as a consultant. Spielman had to be convinced by Ford Hamp, and Spielman told Kyle that she is an absolute bona fide winner. Made a mistake in keeping Patricia and Quinn around, admits it, and that's all I need to hear. That was great news. So I'm excited about that. Okay, folks, proof that we cannot let our guard down. You know, here we are in the middle of all of the shit that's gone on in the past year. The last thing you want to hear about is a possible terror attack. But holy shit, this just came to light, and it's been known for quite some time. And there's a couple things in the story that make me like, shit, yeah, thank God for our intelligence in the U.S. Turns out there's a bad dude who was in Africa, and he is working with I guess it's like described as the what Al-Qaeda is. It's an offshoot of Al-Qaeda somewhere in Africa. I think it is Kenya in this story is where this took place. But and it's called El-Shabaab or El-Shabaab or El-Shabaab. And the terror organization, they have every intention of trying to take us down, and they're kind of going old school on how they want to do it. Because this guy who they busted in July of 2019 had every intention of hijacking an airplane and flying it into our skyscrapers. Now, when it comes to finding this out, I'm always interested, and they probably won't tell us because the last thing they want to do, the federal authorities in the U.S., is reveal how exactly they're catching bad people. I'm just glad that they are. I'm just glad that you can have some crazy fuck in Africa who says, hey, I want to go ahead and I want to do like 9/11. I want to get in a jet airliner, and I want to fly it into buildings. And that's exactly what this guy's plan was. So in July of 2019, they end up arresting him overseas, and they've been hanging on to him. And yesterday was his first day in front of a judge about this to lay out these charges. And that's why the story has been developing, because all this information came out about what this guy was planning. He had, in fact, taken flight school in the Philippines. He had all the information he needed about how to fly a jetliner. He had done research, according to undercover authorities who were casing this guy, about how to get into a cockpit, because nowadays that's a fortified door and not easy to get into. But this son of a bitch had the ability to not only fly a plane, get into a cockpit, and then take it over, doing by whatever means. And then he had researched what buildings to fly it into. Like, where's a tall building? Like, who doesn't know that? But I mean, he was actually doing the research and plotting this out. And the simple fact that they knew all of this shit, U.S. authorities knew what he was up to. Fuck, man. How? I'm just so happy that they did. But my God, proof positive that we are definitely not safe, and that this guy was planning that. So way back in July of 19, he was arrested. This story just now making the rounds that this attempt was thwarted. So absolutely great that happened. Okay, I still need to tell you about the COVID bet and Dr. Jizz. There is a code white. But first, don't forget about Blue Frost IT, the managed IT service provider for the Eric Zane Show podcast. Reach out to them, 616-200-8550, if you need a managed IT service provider, okay? If you're in a business and you have IT, if it goes south on you, what in the world are you going to do? You got to unhook all your stuff or have somebody come to your house, some weirdo you don't know. No, you want to have your own IT company ready to go. That's what Blue Frost IT is all about. 616-200-8550, online at bluefrostit.com. Kent County Health Department, I just reached out to them and I said, hey, when can I get Nurse Mary on the phone again or do a Zoom interview? They go, not for a while. We are underwater right here, working very, very hard. We just can't do it. If you need any information on the Kent County Health Department, reach out to them, accesskent.com/health. COVID information, all there. Vaccinations, all there. Get your kids vaccinated. Don't let that slip. You need information on the Wic program or anything else that the health department can do for you. accesskent.com/health. Hey, if you ever have any email that you want to send me, I just did this. My friends at Shoreliner Striping are now taking care of the email. Email the show, eric@ericzaneshow.com, on the Shoreliners Striping inbox. Thank you very much to Shoreliner Striping. This is the time of year that they're like taking it easy. We don't have anything going on, so it's all good. They'll be back in March once the weather warms up. Striping parking lots. You still can reach out to them, though, at shorelinerstriping.com. Referring to the story about the restaurant that has been that did the old pivot and put the ice shanties, that, of course, being the Sand Bar and Grill on Gun Lake, as opposed to the assholes over at Jimmy's COVID house, sit there and bitch and moan and get everybody sick and act like dicks and alienate the world. The one and only Joe Martinez, who is an absolute ass kicker in the work that he does. No moss grows under this man's feet. He writes this. Regarding that story, this is what makes America great. Not the pissants who cry because we have to wear a mask, or they're closing bars and restaurants and blaming the governor. Somebody in leadership at the restaurants had to do something. Well said, Joe. Kate writes, there's a tagline for Sand Bar and Grill. Quote, better than fuckface Jimmy's. I couldn't agree more. All right. You can always leave your comments also on the live stream if you're enjoying the show live. Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. All right. The COVID bet. I cannot believe somebody did this. Considering the fact that what has been going on. You would think that this would have never have been a thing. but 7 plant management employees at Tyson Foods. Do you remember this way back in the early stages? Well, no, actually, it wasn't that long ago. Midway through this, you heard about meat packing facilities. For whatever reason, the virus would run rampant, and then they might have to close the plant down. Well, Waterloo, Iowa, Tyson Foods, oh boy, 7 management employees had to be fired after an independent investigation claimed that leaders of the company were placing actual bets on how many workers would become infected with COVID-19. My God. Now, hindsight being what it is, I remember when it all started, I was like trying to write a song about COVID or coronavirus, my corona, not having any idea where this would take us. But this was well into it. That was at the very beginning. This was well into it. The allegations against managers at the plant were part of a lawsuit filed by the son of an employee who died of coronavirus in April. I guess it was early on then. We value our people and expect everyone on the team, especially our leaders, to operate with integrity and care in everything we do. Now, I don't know if the betting on anything is going to be anything part of a lawsuit, but it might paint a bigger picture that Tyson did not take the virus seriously. That may be what they're trying to do. The president and CEO, Dean Banks, said, all right, we got to do better. The behaviors exhibited by these individuals do not represent the Tyson core values, which is why we took immediate and appropriate action to get to the truth. It probably sounded like this guy probably was ranting and raving like Tom Cruise when he found out that his actual management team had like Super Bowl squares as to how many would get sick. The lawsuit was filed in early November, alleges that the plant manager, my God, organized a cash buy-in, winner-take-all betting pool for supervisors and managers to wager how many employees would test positive for COVID-19. The suit further claims that supervisors were directed to ignore, symptoms of COVID-19, and workers were encouraged to come to work, oh my God, even if they showed symptoms of the virus. Holy shit. The suit also alleges that the company failed to provide adequate personal protective equipment and didn't implement proper social distancing measures. If this is all true, my gosh. Tyson has denied many of these claims. Well, yeah, deny till you die, man. When asked about the lawsuit on Wednesday, a spokesperson said the company is saddened by the loss of any Tyson team member. Oh, yeah, you're saying all the right things. If this is true, though, my God. Hey, boss, I'm feeling really rough. I think I've got COVID. No, you don't. Come on in. Well, okay, boss. Well, I got the PPE. I'll just come. No. Don't wear it. Don't wear it. In fact, when you get to work, I've got the over/under at 350. So I want you to come to work, and I'll give you $50 if you wipe booger on everyone as you walk in the door or sneeze on them. Because if anything 350 and over, I win the betting pool. Holy shit. Tyson said it suspended the managers accused of this days after the lawsuit was filed. They hired former Attorney General Eric Holder to conduct an independent review of the claim. This is not the only time the plan has faced controversy over its handling of COVID-19. In April, the AP reported the local lawmakers were urging the plan to close warning that the rapid transmission of the virus among workers was dangerous to both employees and to the community. They're like, no, don't worry about it. We got money on this. Fuck you, guys. At the time, meat plants around the country were emerging as hot spots of the virus. Well, this is just ridiculous. So essentially, because of these 7 idiots betting on how many people would get it, people died because of it. Wow. If this is true. And you know what? I believe it is true. They temporarily closed the plant on April 22nd and invited its 2,800 employees to get tested at the facility. They're probably like, okay, before we close, I want you to all gather over there on the killing floor of Tyson Foods. They've probably got like nebulized versions of COVID, shooting it out amongst them, trying to increase the numbers of sick so that stupid idiot can win the bet. A lawsuit filed earlier this month accused the company of discouraging interpreters from discussing the virus other than to falsely claim that it was not a problem at the facility. A Tyson spokesperson declined to comment on that suit at the time. This is fucked. My God, I cannot believe this. Jeez, a bet over who gets COVID. Jesus. Thanks again to Bleeding Heart Brian for sending this story in. And I thank anybody who has ever sent a story in to the Eric Zane Show podcast. If you ever want to help out my show, because again, it's just me, I count on the help by all of you for your comments, questions, and things like that on the email, the Shoreliner Striping inbox, or if you just send me a link on the Shoreliner Striping inbox of a story that you think is something that I should be talking about. Send it along. I don't use all of them. And if I don't use it, don't worry. Keep sending them. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean that it sucks. It means that it just didn't strike me. So send it along. It doesn't mean that we won't use it on the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast or whatever. So keep sending in those stories like this one. Brian sent this along this morning, I believe. This morning or last night. So this is absolutely biblical in its scope. You've got a 104-year-old doctor who is revealing, and what does he carry? He's 104. It's not like anybody's going to say anything, and I don't think anybody is going to have a problem with what he did. Who is a physician, and in his younger days would see patients about fertility. Now, when I say younger days, I mean the 1950s. And back then, I'm sure trying to get a couple pregnant or get a lady pregnant through any means outside of natural just having sex may have been a little bit different back then, and that technology has changed over the years. Well, but what you got here is you got this doctor who is known as Dr. Pevin. Him and a number of other doctors, he says, had been fathering children by using their own sperm when couples would show up and say, "Doc, we're trying to conceive. Can you help me?" He's like, "Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Give me your eggs." And then, "All right, here's your eggs." And then he like beats off on them. And then the next thing you know, he spits it inside of her, and it attaches to her uterus, and boom, she's got a baby. Now, I'm making it simple. I don't think there's anything involved with spitting into a uterus, but that's essentially what happened. A woman says that a Detroit family doctor has fathered hundreds, perhaps thousands of babies, including her. She took a DNA test and traced it back to her family's doctor. Boy, I had no idea that the nowadays, if you take a DNA test like that, what is it, 23andMe or whatever, you can, in an instant, you can find out if your dad is your dad, your mom is your mom, where you're from, whether you committed mass murder, whether someone killed somebody. It's incredible. Dr. Pevin, a healthy, robust 104, admitted to fathering her and potentially all of those others. He said it was a group of doctors who'd been doing this for decades. I go, I think my mom's doctor is my dad, Jamie Hall said. The woman says she couldn't believe it when she took a DNA test through Ancestry.com. The results came back to her family doctor being the person who fathered her. Is that how it works? It just says who your dad is? It's just like listed? So if I take that test, it's just going to say Ruben Zaitunian is your dad? Can you imagine if it didn't? Can you imagine if it said Wally Corbeil? Oh, my God, what's going on? I said, did you ever think that DNA would bring back all your biological children to you? And the doc said, oh, no. She went to his home to ask him about the DNA results. Jamie Hall says she wasn't the only person who took a test. Shortly after, she got a call from her half-brother. He'd done more research in this and said, you have another half-brother that you can call today. It's his birthday. He'd love to get a sister on his birthday, Hall said. She says her parents, who are both dead, had no idea that Dr. Jizz used his own sperm. They went to Grace Hospital in Detroit in the 1950s because they were having a difficult time conceiving. Hall says Dr. Pevin would inseminate his patients with a fresh sperm sample. Boy, just the words of it, fresh and sperm, it just sounds terrible to me. A fresh sperm sample from himself or one of the other doctors. Hall says she believes Dr. Pevin was more of a scientist and a doctor second. I need to know the mechanism of how it works. Does he just jizz onto a slide? What does he do? He said, I was on the cutting edge, a pioneer to be doing what I was doing at my practice, Hall recalled. But it was when Dr. Pevin's grandson matched with Jamie Hall and showed up as her half-nephew. It was all the proof she needed. Hall says Dr. Pevin admitted to fathering her and potentially hundreds, if not thousands of children over his 40-year career. His daughter by marriage said to me once, Dad, you could have hundreds, maybe thousands of kids, Hall said. And he goes, I guess that's true. He said, I started donating sperm in the 1940s. Back then, all they do was probably just do it in their hand and just throw it right at you. Hall says she's not angry. And she wanted to come forward because she says everyone born from a donor doctor has a right to know who their parents are. Encourage others born through the 50s to the 80s to take a DNA test. Wow. This is incredible. Guy fathering all those damn kids. Congratulations, Dr. Jizz. You know, I nobody would have a problem with it, probably. You know, they're like, oh, you shouldn't have made me. The guy was very fertile. Congratulations. Your dad's a doctor. Hey, don't forget about tag accounting. We're getting close to tax season, folks, and I want you to call upon Troy Kinzer at 616-301-9516 for tag accounting. Don't let it slip by. Remember, okay, when it comes to taxes, if you do your own, you're leaving money on the table. That's a problem, okay? Instead of leaving money on the table, pay Troy to do your taxes. You'll get the freedom of doing it correctly, and you don't have the time invested. He's doing it all for you. And then before you know it, the money winds up in your account on your tax return. Whether it's a business, whether it's personal taxes, you should have Troy Ginzer at Tag Accounting. Do your accounting. TagCPA.net, 616-301-9516, 616-301-9516. Call him today. Just call him and say, hey, Zane told me to call. How can you help me? Anywhere in the USA. Doesn't have to be in Michigan. Anywhere in the USA. Tag Accounting. And my friend Steve Prince, retired Army Major. When's his next class? I know people have been taking the CPL training classes like gangbusters. since all this pandemic stuff has been going on. But I want you to go to check out my friend Steve Prince at Prince Arming. And you can get to his website, princearming.com, or just go to ericzaneshow.com, click on the logo for Prince Arming, and then check him out there on Facebook for his next class. He's sold out for Saturday. He's got, wow, we got to wait. He's taking the holidays off. Saturday sold out. January 30, that's a Saturday, 8 a.m., CPL training with Steve Prince. The class is $125. That's it, though. You're done. You're gonna watch some videos. You're gonna have some laughs, eat some snacks. You're gonna learn everything you need to know. You're gonna get the take the test. You're gonna pass. You're gonna get the certificate. Congratulations! You take that little certificate to your county in Michigan and go get your pistol license. That's how you do it. You can call Steve at 616-204-1705. 616-204-1705. PrinceArming.com is a website. True to form, I'm tired. This is the way it goes. This has to do with the recovery from the kidney surgery. I start the show. I'm like gangbusters right now, man. My energy is being sapped from me. So I got to go. I got to regroup, and then I'll come back with the Patreon. But this is all part of the learning curve of the whole thing. I feel fine. I'm just tired. Holy crap. I can't stress enough how thankful I am for each and every one of you for enjoying this podcast, either live every day, Monday through Friday, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, or on the recorded podcast. If you are listening to the recorded podcast way down the road, like weeks or days later from when I actually made it, would you please jump ahead to the current show? That way you're up to speed, okay? Then go back. That's all I want you to do. But keep listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast. Thank you, folks. I love you so much. Till next time. Bye-bye.